Coming up next on MCN, the McAllen Cable Network, the Development Corporation of McAllen from McAllen City Hall. The Development Corporation appointed by the City Commission is charged with making recommendations on how to use money that's been raised from the half-cent sales tax that was approved by McAllen voters on May the 3rd, 1997. The recommendation is made to the City Commission. They make the final decision. And now, the Development Corporation of McAllen.
Okay, we're going to convene the meeting for August 12th, 2020 of the Development Corporation. And I understand we kind of a point of order first. We have several commissioners that are zooming in that aren't members of the board. We certainly welcome you to be a member here and to listen. Some of you may be involved in some of the charities or businesses that would have requests here. And so in talking to the city attorney, what we're requesting you to do that, since this is only going to be a recommendation to the city commission for ultimate funding of everything, they approved the budget of the Development Corps. If you could hold your comments as it relates to the individual entities until the city commission meeting actually considers the items as recommended. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then we'll go ahead and item number 1 is Affordable Homes of South Texas for Emergency Repair Program, and that would be to be funded out of this year's budget. So this is an amendment to this year's budget.
Right, Mayor, this was a suggestion by the Director of Grants, which I thought was a great suggestion. You may want to do it, you may not. This is something we did in 2018 when we had the big flood. And the City Commission and the Development Corporation decided that it was a good thing to have some small, short-term, low-interest loans and other. And so we wanted to see if you were interested. This is just new, nobody requested it, and we just thought we'd bring it to you.
I had a question. We fund 40,000 back then, or?
That's what it was.
It was 30, yes.
It was 30?
30.
It was 30? So
this
go
is
ahead.
for 40?
Anything that I missed, please tell us.
Do you think there's more demand this year than there was in 18, or seem to be more damage in 18?
Well, it seems that there is some demand, and the concern is that we are early in the hurricane season, and this is the time that people particularly have issues with a small need for repair of roofs or to replace
Before it
tarps and do
happens.
things like that. So this request actually limits the assistance to $300, and it is provided as a Home Depot or a Lowe's gift card so that they can go out and purchase whatever materials needs to be done. $40,000 would actually assist 134 families, and they have a wait list at this point of 34 families. They have assisted 62 from McAllen so far this fiscal year.
I think.
So the wait list is 30 some, but this allows for 100 and,
This would allow for 134 families, yes.
okay?
What's the general criteria?
Mayor, I have a
for someone to
question
qualify?
on that. Mayor, this is Elba. Is that are these funds allowable through Development Corps? Did we fund this last year or did it go through general fund?
Yeah, no, we funded this 2 years ago, and it went through the Development Corp.
Okay.
There are no general criterias in that it's essentially unrestricted funds. They do it to whomever needs assistance, and it's, again, emergency and usually imminent threat that they
Yeah,
need
no,
to
that's what
assist.
I mean, how do they assess the need?
So through their online portal, through the website, they normally get a list of individuals and households that are requesting assistance.
But how do they vet that they would be eligible based on low-income criteria?
No, actually, it does not have anything to do with income. They do ask for pictures if appropriate. Sometimes these families don't have much. They're in true consideration of need, and so they just come in and ask for whatever type of assistance. But normally they do, there is a formal application process, and they do ask that they can provide pictures if possible.
But it is for McAllen families, right?
This would be for McAllen families, yes, limited to McAllen families.
So if this money is for this budget year, and there's 30 on the waiting list, but this fund's 130, I think maybe the 40,000 is a little too much. I don't know that we can spend it, or that it'll be used, or unless you think otherwise.
My only comment to that is that they did already supply 62 other families with monies that they already had in reserve.
So this reimbursing?
No, when they came in, essentially during the hurricane was the bulk of individuals that came in on requested
Yvette, but they
assistance.
raised money from the community, from banks and other.
That's correct, it's part of their
individuals.
unrestricted
And I
dollars.
believe, as far as I know, that waiting list is much higher than that. So, but also this would also apply to any hurricanes or bad storms that would be forthcoming, right?
That is
Because
the
hurricane
request.
season doesn't until November.
That is their request, is that it would be used for current and future
Well, I mean, they do
assistance.
it now whether there's a hurricane or not. It's to prepare for the hurricane season.
That is their request.
Yeah, well, the waiting list right now is for HANA repairs, is what I understand. So,
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the amount doesn't really concern me. I was just curious to ensure that the program isn't abused and it goes to people who actually need it rather than people who figure out how to get a $300 Lowe's gift card. That's the only.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that's what she just said, Sebi, that they provide an application and photographs and whatnot, so.
No, I
My-
understand
but
that,
My question was that I thought three
Photograph
hundred
of a
was
7,000 square
low.
foot home.
And I think before, we went up to 500 because 300 goes really fast. And I know that these people need to put money in of their own. But, nowadays, if you gotta have a tree removed, it's gonna cost you $300 or $500. So, obviously.
I think
that's
it
up to
provides a
them.
good service. I just think the program itself
think
is
it's a
partly
very
good
good
faith,
service.
so
I would agree.
the small
And
amount.
I agree with Ms. Cerda that I think 300 is a little low.
Yes.
I know we were doing some tree cutting and stuff like that, and yeah, they charge you just for that, I think for like $200 just to cut off a tree, so.
And then they have internal repairs in their house. And so I think that, Yvette, we could probably talk to Bobby about that, because I don't know if you recall, but with Dolly, there was for 500. So, maybe we could give an option depending on the gravity of the repair work, Mayor, to give them that option.
I think
But I mean, like Sebi, I think this is an excellent program.
No,
It's a
so do
smaller
I, but I think
monetary,
affordable homes will determine the best amount to have the most
Yeah, but
widespread
so that-
impact.
So we should have, but my point being that we shouldn't limit it 300 and leave it up to
Yeah.
500, so.
Give them
The-
a
the
little
only
bit
thing
of a
I-
wiggle room. Maybe we can have like two options, one which is 300 and one
Yeah.
500, depending on the type of damages.
I agree, that's what we should do.
The only thing that I would say to that is that they've already got a program that they're doing with their own funds, and they've chosen it to be $300. So
But we could
that's-
ask
that's
them,
all I'm
Roy,
saying.
because I think it's 300, because, I mean, they're out of money.
Well, we
They're still-
could,
they're still
we could do
trying to get more money.
we could do the 40,000. If they want to come back and raise the amount to 500, they could do that without a budget amendment. It's just within the program.
That's
We're out there.
Yeah, that's
So-
their program to run.
Yeah,
so
let's do
Okay.
the request for 40,000. Is that a motion from anybody?
I'll make a motion
I
to
move
approve the
approval.
40,000.
Okay, a motion.
Second.
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 All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Item 2.
Thank you, Yvette. Item 2 is deliberation and consideration for funding of outside agencies. You heard their presentation probably a month ago or so, and this is part of the budget, so what we wanted to do, instead of just present the budget by itself, is maybe make it a little easier and take this action, and then we can look at the entire budget. Yvette?
Yes, if I could just comment that what we did do is take a 10% reduction off of what was allocated last year, and that was the CD committee looked at as their maximum amount of subsidy.
Except for Comfort House, it doesn't look like they got a 10%.
I'm sorry, it's the overall budget.
Okay,
Yes.
overall budget, and then you look internally and see what.
Right, with the applications.
Got it.
We should have put the percentages, how much each one got cut on the side,
Yeah.
then if they
I
were
would
different.
actually like
Because
to
I read
know
it
the
like Omar,
percentages.
10% across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tried to, and then you couldn't figure it out, so I figured.
Mayor, I think it's important that we probably go one by one, right?
Yeah, I do. Let's talk about the swing band. Is that the first one? Okay. How many events are the swing band doing since they have, on a practical standpoint, until the
They're not
COVID's
doing-
over, they're doing
No,
none?
they haven't been.
They're not doing it.
They haven't done any, and there's likely not to be doing any in the foreseeable future, so I would suggest either we do something nominal, or we just
Yeah.
not do anything for
You
them.
know, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, especially with the convention center and the Performing Arts Center. It's, for budget standpoint, we're presuming it's going to be a normal year, and it's not.
It's not.
And I think we need to do a little more tightening down on this, because those are our departments that we control, and we don't, once we award a contract, we don't do that. So we could do several ways. We could do the amount and say, we're gonna review it quarterly in the contract, Kevin, and then say we could reduce it and/or
Well,
based on need, or we could try to predict.
yeah. Did they spend the last year's?
They have been spending it, but to my knowledge, they haven't liquidated all of it.
Yeah, I think they had about 8,500 in their balance of that, and when we looked at the application.
Okay, so they maybe spent like half, and they're not going to spend any more. Doesn't seem like it.
It says here for equipment repair and replacement.
Yeah, but they don't have anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with 12,000 on that. It's just
Yeah, the recommendation's
I would-
9.5.
the recommendation is 9.5. I don't even know that I'd go that high. If
I agree.
I would think.
And
you-
did they not spend, and sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard that they didn't spend the whole 12,000 that we gave them last time?
no, they're at half. They're at
Haven't
6,000.
yet.
Is it too much to say, let's do 5 or 6 and say we would review at midterm?
Yeah, I'm
you
okay
know?
with 5.
I agree.
Based on.
I'm okay with 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would
5,
agree on that.
and then we would,
5,000 is fine.
no guarantees, but we would review based on what happens with the COVID virus. Okay, 5 for them.
5.
Now we're doing it. South Texas College. Most of this is go to training, is that right, for, and-
500
and
workers?
One of the requests we had a couple years ago was some of the companies, like OSHA training, should be, you know, we agreed to help them when we recruited them, but it's been 10 years and we're still paying for all their OSHA training, et cetera. So they are getting companies to pay now for some of that training, is that right?
They are, and they are looking to do much more manufacturing training
Manufacturing, okay.
and other endeavors.
I mean, it's a really good program, and usually these guys, if they get welding certificates, get raises, we always ask that, and so they do raise people's pay with some of the training. That's not just the OSHA or federal compliance stuff.
They're probably the only one on here though whose allocation in 1920 is lower than the request and the CD committee recommendation.
Yeah. What do you think?
So
They asked for more this year, Yvette. What was the reason for the increase? They were awarded 259 and then they asked for 470, a very high increase.
This year.
Request.
They
What was
normally,
that for?
they normally do ask for more, but just because there hasn't been much in the budget, that's been the reduction. But in essence, they have been asking
Yeah.
for around 400,000 for the
We
last
actually
few
cut them, they
years.
were at 375 or something about 4 or 5 years ago. And actually, I made a recommendation to cut them because they weren't getting companies to pay for some of the training that we thought they should pay for. And so that's how come we cut them. And so they've not corrected that and are trying to expand the program.
That's correct.
But don't, I mean,
And how much of the money that we've given that has not been used? Do we know?
We anticipate that they will liquidate the entire budget.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the challenge on this one is, I mean, this STC, they're a taxing entity, and
exactly.
just like we are, and so I don't know that, you know, we should go much more than what we gave them last year, is my suggestion.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they also receive from not just the taxes,
Oh.
but also other sources of revenue. They get money from other, not just McAllen, but other cities
They
and
get work-
other
yeah.
entities.
They get workforce
Exactly.
money. They do get workforce money for some of their programs. So it's a good program, but
Is
the
that
question is.
is that a recommendation there, Omar, the 259?
Is it, yeah, well, the 259, I would keep them the same,
We can do 260 and just close them
260.
off at 260.
260, there we
Okay,
go.
that's good.
Three of
That's a
us-
good raise.
Three
That's a
of
good
us are on
raise.
the same page on that.
We raised it a little bit at least.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, everybody,
Right on the
everybody in
this
agreement with that? We'll vote on them all at the end, as long as we got consensus. Okay, Affordable Homes South Texas, and this is, for what program is this for?
This is actually the rehabilitation program, and this tends to be for housing that we cannot do with CDBG. So either we have an environmental concern, it's in a floodway, it's in the airport clear zone, something like that. So it augments the CDBG rehabilitation program.
Yeah, that's the parking lot at Hope
Hope
Clinic,
Medical
right?
Clinic, yes, sir.
Okay. That wasn't for this money, I'm just saying that's the restriction.
Yes.
And that represents a drop of 33%.
And they spent all their money last year?
they do. I think they're pretty tight.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's project specific.
This
so
is,
they're very
this is
budget-
really a really good low-income program. I mean, it really is.
And
We
they
should
do,
probably give them, we should probably give them what they requested, the 223,
I was
is what
gonna-
they requested.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's reduce it to 267 and eliminate the 300.
What?
No, they're
sorry?
suggesting
I mean,
220.
Well, their
Wanna
request
make
was
it more?
223, we can,
223, yeah,
Their-
223.
We'll give them
that's
the
right.
two-
request is for
223 even.
223,
yeah, let's go to
223 even.
Yeah.
We're going to even
Yeah,
numbers.
okay.
even
Yeah, we're
numbers.
going to even numbers.
Okay,
223, okay.
Okay, Comfort House Services, 100 grand, 100 grand, 100 grand.
That's good. Very
Yeah.
good.
I'm fine with Comfort House.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they're
good.
one of the
I'm fine
only
with
ones
that
that
too.
provide that service.
The only problem I have with Comfort House, Veronica, is what? They don't charge, and they got people with insurance, so they could do that. You know, you're funding people that could pay. That's the real problem, and they never do it, because Sister
Oh,
Strohmeyer,
Veronica, leave her alone.
no, I'm not saying her,
Well,
but I mean,
they could waive deductibles and still bill insurance, right?
and God bless the sister, but she's no longer with us.
It would
Yeah.
take us a year or two in order to
There we go.
get Medicare and Medicaid on board.
Huh?
And,
You engaged her, Mayor.
and
Oh, yeah.
then we'd go through a process and
She's a
have to
member of the
close,
board, no?
take
Oh.
the risk.
Okay, Veronica, I asked you that question specifically because, as a resource person, okay? Yeah.
For the
Okay.
record,
Can't talk about it.
for the record, yeah.
Okay, well, whatever you guys want. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, 100,000, I mean, I
Okay
think
with
we're
the
all in
100.
agreement.
We ought to put them on notice that would give them 2 years to start that.
I
program.
agree with Mayor.
Say every year they say the same thing. Okay, 100,000. Okay, lift fund. I had a question. Affordable Homes of South Texas, Inc. took over our loan program under CARES.
that's correct.
Why wouldn't we shift that program, this program, to them regularly, since it's local and they have local employees and local office?
This is a
Yeah,
different
I
deal.
agree
This
with
is, well,
This
but
is for the businesses.
this is, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
but
that
100
Affordable Homes of South Texas is a lender,
Yeah, no,
like
no.
Lift Fund
This
is.
is a completely different.
Well, this is different, but this is
Animal.
only, I guess, $10,000 loans for 15 businesses. That's all.
Yeah,
$20,000 loans for 15 businesses.
Well-
The impact isn't massive.
Let me ask the bankers, as a nonprofit, they take 10%, is that okay?
Yeah.
They take
Yeah,
10
because that usually runs about 15.
And not only this program actually did really good. It's doing good, so.
Well, I know, but I'm saying if you got a local entity that could do it, why wouldn't you have them do it? But I'm just putting it out
Yeah,
there.
I don't know that Affordable in South Texas is going to get into the lending business. This is, they're taking on what we asked them to take on here recently, but that's not their
Omar,
core.
That's something we might be able to look at in the future, depending on how they manage these small business loans that we assign to them.
Possibly in the future, but I don't know that they're set up at the moment to
But at
be
least,
a,
at least
to be a
award them
lender.
what they got last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's
They
what I
were
think,
able to help us
that's
out.
that would be my suggestion is to do the community development committee recommendation of 150. And they spent all of the interest this year already, right? It wasn't even, we're not even at the end of the year. They spent it by
Yes,
a couple,
they
2-3
liquidated.
months ago,
It's-
right?
It's been a few months, yes.
Yeah, so.
Okay,
I mean,
so they're adding 5 more. Okay, I would agree with that, Omar.
So what amount?
The 150?
150.
I just didn't want to
yeah.
take anyone beyond the previous allocation. I would say the 125 is fine and see how they can stretch it. But
And
I
that's what I
agree with
read.
Debbie on the 125.
otherwise they'd be the only
Okay,
ones that would
that's
be
fine.
getting
I'm good
more
with that
than a
too.
previous year.
Okay, Omar, 125?
Yeah, 125 is fine.
Okay, 125.
125. Okay.
Okay, McAllen Economic Development Corporation, request 992, 890. No,
Mayor, the question I had on MEDC is did they, I didn't notice,
What's the
but did you
percent
notice, are
decrease
they
on that?
reducing their travel budget?
Well,
That's more
it's-
than 10%.
Is that,
exactly for
is that
the year.
already, is that already
100%
included
decrease
in
in
that
their
number,
estimated
or what are
impact.
they doing with their travel? Because I know that I gotta be traveling.
Well, whatever
That's
travel
only
they do
given.
have is
The
in
same
there.
amount given.
Yeah, what
I
I,
don't
yeah,
know.
is it taken out of there?
No, it's in there. It's in
Yeah,
there.
maybe we do that. Maybe take out the travel budget, and if they got a travel plan, they come back and ask for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever the,
What is the amount? Yvette, do you know?
Yeah, so right now I'm looking under administrative expenses. It looks to be about 15,400. And let me just look at the programmatic side.
That's it? 15,000? Wow.
That,
And the expenses.
no, that's on the
so
admin- that's on the
everything else
administrative
is
side.
Expenses for travel?
on the administrative
Wait a
side, for direct services It looks like their overseas travel is $80,000.
There you go.
And that's what I'm
Alright.
seeing.
Okay, there it
800
is.
then,
That's
take
what
out the
we're-
90.
I'll just say that, I mean, they're already reducing it by 12.6%.
Yeah.
Pretty,
And
that's
it
pretty
wasn't
excessive.
that long ago that they were at 1.35 million, so
I would take the
I mean, I
travel.
think that they're in a good
Take the
trend.
travel
I
out
would
of the
take, I think
request.
the travel should come out.
Take the
anyway.
travel
Yeah.
out of their request, which takes it to 912, and if they're gonna travel, then they come back.
912? Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. That's a little
Okay.
more than the community development, but that's fine. I mean, 912 I think is fine.
I was actually gonna suggest that we do what the proposed, the 890 that the committee, that requested.
Yeah, I guess, I mean,
All right, we'll meet in the middle, 900
Okay.
even.
900 even.
But
Or
900,
900 even.
900 with them coming back for the
Tanya.
travel.
Yes.
900 even.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 900.
I do have the 5 first classes. Just kidding.
That's our budget too.
Okay. Okay, so 900, but they can come back for a travel allowance if they start traveling. Vita, 531, recommendation 425.
It's a tough one.
And Vito. I think they need
I
to
have
go
a,
down.
I checked, and they said that they were using, because their big budget is for childcare. Most of the budget of workforce development is childcare, 68%. And I checked, and they haven't used very, very little for childcare. And every year I ask, and they say they have, but that's part of their
Yeah.
big budget.
So it was in the $20,000 range, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Very low, yeah.
yeah.
I think we
And,
need to
yeah,
crunch
very
them.
low, and they
Crunch.
spend, yeah.
Yeah, you
So
have to
suggested.
crunch them if they're
Huh?
not, you have
What
to
do you-
crunch them if they're not meeting the criteria.
What do you think the amount should be then?
Below the committee's recommendation.
Yeah?
I would have suggested maybe
400?
400.
Yeah?
400, everybody okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay with that.
400 is good.
Okay, 400. Lower Grande Valley El Milagro Clinic. You know, there's 2 things we do. We do Hope and El Milagro Clinic. How much we do for Hope? That's out of general fund though, right?
No, it's CDBG.
Huh?
CDBG.
How much we do for them?
It's usually around 30,000.
That's all? And they see as many patients as the same operation, right? Yeah, see-
Mayor, we've been asking El Milagro for like 2 or 3 years if they can add Saturday hours of service, because a lot of people at work can't come to the clinic. And they haven't, for some reason, started offering any kind of Saturday services. So, you know, that's kind of a concern in that people sometimes can't come during the week, you know? So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and then
So-
they had that doctor's office. We caught them with a doctor office in there, and so they're referring, patients to him and are paying and all that stuff. They have about 2 or 3 years left on their lease between the county and us. We own the building with the county, and we gave them a 25-year lease way back when. They've changed all their management and board over the years. So what's the suggestion then? Penalize them for no Saturday? Get their attention?
Well, yeah, I mean, their
Well, they're
allocation was
asking
233.
for-
The committee's only recommending 230. That's not really a cut. Everyone else above that has taken a significant hit.
Yeah.
I think you've got to go
That's
down
true.
200?
at most.
I wouldn't go any lower than
To the
200.
pandemic, you don't think?
Everyone's
Well, 200, and then
gotta
see if
adjust.
they
Yeah,
start adding
that's a good
some
point. I mean,
hours of
we're in a
service there.
pandemic right now. I mean, if any service is
Everyone has to
important,
adjust.
it's medical services, and so,
On a fund.
That's
would be
right.
El Milagro.
yeah.
I would
mean,
actually
come on.
But we have to have the
say that we
funds,
follow
so-
the recommendation of the committee on this one.
I would think
Money
so
has to
too.
come from somewhere.
Yeah, 230,
That's
Tanya, I
There's
think
a
you're right
taxpayer
on that one.
obligation.
Okay, 230, everybody, raise your hand, 230,
Yeah,
okay.
230.
Mayor, but I do think we should reiterate to them that we really would like
Saturday
to see them
service,
people on Saturdays.
Good point.
Yeah.
absolutely. And because of COVID, they have to spread their patients out, so they should be open on Saturday anyways, because they can't see as many people
Absolutely.
at
I
once.
mean, you know.
Okay, Boys and Girls Club of McAllen, 185, which one is this, which program is this?
If I am not mistaken, this is
Is the after
actually
school?
The after-school program.
Well, if they have an there's no school, they have an after-school.
They are still going to maintain an after-school, and I shouldn't say after-school program. They are going to maintain a program in which they are going to see children during the day and help them with schoolwork
Yeah,
throughout
they
the
they actually,
normal period,
they
yes.
actually asked for 40,000 to continue the program where they're taking kids, the parents go to work and they're actually for lack of a better
They're in
term.
more
Yes.
need
They're
now
providing daycare.
Yes.
because kids are home all the time instead of
Yeah.
just after school.
Yeah, they really are providing essential daycare to people.
And not only that, but I think they're already starting like the programs for the sports and stuff like that, just to kind of balance it out with the parents. And I think they're having different timings too, in the mornings and the afternoons.
Good.
Okay, so they
much
have,
they- how much did we roll over from the budget, Roy?
Excuse me, I have a question. Is this the one that we gave them an extension till December for the previous year, for this fiscal year, Yvette?
Yeah, that's what I just asked Roy, how much
You
we
recall
rolled
that number,
over.
Yvette?
So they
I
technically are
don't
getting
know how much they actually.
extended funding plus this funding.
They have,
Yeah, because if they're
Yeah.
not gonna
But do
use
you know how
it,
much they
I
have
mean,
left?
this
What was the
year,
last meeting?
approximately, no,
I remember being around 100,000.
it was in our last
How much did we
agenda.
roll?
I think it was a lot less than that.
We didn't roll over. They requested that they keep the money. It wouldn't be.
Basically,
'cause they
it
had
didn't
been-
expire, they still had
Right.
access to it.
They could
but-
use it through the end of the
But
year.
they maintain that plus anything we give them
Calendar,
here, so.
calendar year.
well, then we could do it this way, it'd be this amount less what they rolled over.
Mayor, I can't hear you too much. I can't hear you.
We're trying to figure out how much they rolled over from last year's because they couldn't spend it all because of the COVID.
But Mayor, the whole purpose of them rolling it over was because they felt they were gonna need that and their request.
Okay, well,
So the
'cause they want-
185 or
they-
200?
They want to retain it, I mean.
I say we do 200.
200, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good number.
I was
200,
okay with-
everybody
I was
nodding,
okay with the committee's
everybody nodding on
recommendation of
200?
185.
Okay. JJ hasn't moved yet since we
So,
had the whole meeting.
we're gonna- we're- Okay, so hold on, we're gonna give them more than the recommendation of the,
Yes, because we heard from the city
Yes.
manager that their need is even greater now. And so,
That case,
And not
can-
only
that case
that,
can be
I'm
made
sorry,
for
but
almost
they're
any organization.
providing the services
But-
for the essential employees that can unfortunately not put their kids in the school. So
Yeah.
200,
no,
I
I mean,
think, is reasonable for the service that they provide.
I have no issue with Boys and Girls Club. Is it because they had money they hadn't spent? That's why I was trying to see if there was something we're gonna roll over, you know?
Well,
And
there
so,
is.
I mean, we can certainly keep an eye on that, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
I was okay with the recommendation then, but
Okay.
well, what do
up to you
wanna
guys.
do? I'm okay with 200, but I mean, do you want to take a poll or what do you want?
Everybody nodded except for Elva. 200's okay?
I'm at 200.
I'm with
at
Elva.
200.
One,
Tanya's
two,
at
three,
200.
four. Right.
everybody said 200 or what?
No,
Yeah.
Sebi was
you and I are
185.
at the recommendation.
Come on, Tanya.
Reza?
No, I'm at 200,
I'm with
guys.
Sebi.
I'm sorry,
That's
like,
fine. That's
people
fine,
are
Mayor.
putting their
I'm-
kids in there for right now.
Elva
They're taking
came,
care of the kids
Elva
of
came
the
across to our
essential
side, I think, on that 200.
All right.
I'm
right.
okay with
Y'all got your
200.
200.
Thank you, Elva.
employees. 200, let's do it.
Are you okay with-
We've got 3 at
okay?
200.
Yep.
4.
Hey, don't
why
let
not?
us bully you out of this
I feel bullied.
Okay.
Who don't bullies?
Well, never mind. I won't get into that. Okay, Easter seals of RGV.
185, 200.
They didn't get any allocation, and this year they wanted 59, and we, committee 47. So why didn't we give?
But it's,
This is a one-time request
Oh,
to do their
paving.
parking lot.
We own the property, right? Or?
Yes,
Yeah.
we own the
Okay, we own
property.
the property.
Yeah, they've been asking us for about 4 or 5 years for his parking lot.
so the city owns this property?
Yes,
Correct.
we've owned the property
Okay,
for
but
years.
they use it, so they're gonna put in a little bit of money then?
Well, our money, but yeah.
Okay. So I think 47 is good.
Yeah, I thought we could get Cutler over there to do it cheaper than that, but I don't know. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Roy, do you think the 47 is going to help them?
Yeah, honestly, that number is a quote from a contractor from 2 years ago.
The
and he-
59?
Yeah, and he said, I'll hold the number if you get the funding.
Oh, okay. You think we're going to be okay with 47 and then have them come up with the rest, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'll be pretty happy.
Okay.
Okay, so now, what we need to do, we all have the tentative agreement. You gotta keep track of that? Everybody knows what they are?
Yeah, we got it.
We need a formal motion to approve the funding of outside agencies as all tentatively agreed to.
I'll make a motion.
Motion,
I'll
second?
second.
Second. Any further discussion? Then we'll get before city commission, we'll get, okay, all in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Well, that was easy. Now,
Well done, yeah.
now this is a public hearing?
Okay.
Okay, I'm convening the public hearing now for possible action for the Development Corporation budget, and this includes all the city, if you will, programs. I had one question. We show an estimated sales tax collection of 14,322,000, and this was made a while ago. We show for 2021 the same amount, 14,332. I know there, and that was the 1920 budget, not the 1819.
Right.
How do we do that?
No, what we did, Mayor, is this mirrors obviously the general fund. This is 0.5% of the total 2% that we collect. And so the actual last year is one line over. It's 15,940,000.
Okay.
And then what you're seeing, the two numbers the same, is adjusted budget and estimated. And what we did on the general fund also is the amount of revenue that we forecast for this fiscal year, we used the same number for last year. So basically, in 1920, we had a good 6 months and then a bad 6 months. And for 2021, we're hoping that it's going to be a bad 6 months to start and then turn around in the second half. So it's our estimate, but it's consistent with what we did on the general fund. Now, what I do want to point out on that is we circled that 5.4 there on the top of the page.
Yeah.
Because this budget is anticipating that we're going to get reimbursed for the $5.4 million that you awarded for grants, mortgage, Wi-Fi, and so on. It was $5.4 million. And so I want to point that out, is that we've got to get reimbursed to the Development Corp in order to have that fund balance at the bottom of $4 million.
We'll know by October whether we're going to get it or not.
So far, what we've presented to the city commission is we've got a number that we think we're going to get from the county. And within that fund, or funding of 16.3 million, 5.4 would come here.
Yeah.
And so if we get it all, then we anticipate bringing the 5.4. The city commission can decide different, but that's what we are forecasting. Now, I'll tell you something that's gonna be out very quickly, because it was on a phone call at noon today, and I told the mayor about an hour ago. The judge has a call 2 or 3 times a week. It's called the mayor's call, and mayors are on there and city manager are on there, so I always listen. And today, we confirmed 2 things. One was that they did, in fact, spend $7.5 million to contribute to hospitals, okay, which we knew, but we didn't know where the money had come from. The second thing that the judge confirmed was it was our money. It was the money that they had said would be in reserve between the $114 and the $132. So half of it has disappeared. There was 15.5 million, and the 7.5 million that went to the hospitals was from that amount that they had quote-unquote reserved for cities, and I wanted you to know that today.
Yeah.
Wait a
And
minute.
where-
You made it sound like the full 7 million came from our portion.
Well, no, not City of McAllen, but
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah, because you said out of the
Cities.
15 million.
Out of the 15.5? Yes, out of the 15.5, which is the difference between the $114
Oh,
per
that was the
capita
total for that.
132.
and 132, that equates to 15.5. They took 7.5.
It's kind of good, because 114 for McAllen is
16.3.
16 million plus, 16.2?
16.3.
16.3. And so that's what the county said is the city's portion right now. Then they said between 114, 132 would be special projects. If the city went over the 114, they would consider those special projects. But so far, they used half of it.
They should have halved
on
it with the
hospital.
cities and halved it with the county on that 7 million. But anyways,
And
that's a
then
different-
anything over 132.
Nobody called us.
They should have done it all from the county.
Oh, well,
Anything over 132 was for the county to spend because, on the courthouse, because everybody uses it, including city people and all that. That's their explanation, I'm not
Yeah,
agreeing
course.
with that.
Well, at a minimum, we think they should have at least talked to us. You
Now-
know, they had said they had reserved it. But again, this 5.4 comes from the original 16.3. If that happens, hopefully this will be made whole.
We have a list of 8 things, I think, in the letter, right? About 8 things that the county spent money on, there's been a request to see, kind of a who, what, when, where, why, and how on those monies. We haven't gotten those back yet. The first confirmed thing was the hospital money.
And then, in order to make it a little easier, if you go to the last page, on page 6, That is the recommended funding out of the Development Corporation. And so we can entertain any questions on any one of those and hopefully answer it.
Now, Roy, I had a question on with all the department requests, you were gonna be in the whole 2 million, and that didn't include the 5.4 million. So when you put your 5.4 million, we made up 6 million, so some of that money is because you didn't approve department requests.
Correct. That is correct.
So if we don't get the 5.4, we'll be in the whole $1 million, million
Correct.
2 or 3, million 3.
So we've already gotten 3 million? We got,
We got the 20%.
Right. That went to the general fund
I went to the general fund.
for
but it
fire
could
and
still
police.
be, okay. So it's
Yeah.
already been allocated to fire and
Eventually,
police.
You
Yeah.
can transfer any amount or not to the
Yeah.
Development Corp.
Okay.
Or to any project.
Was thinking that was still the case.
Yeah.
What, I had a question. Can we start asking questions now?
Of
What is
course,
the
yes, sir.
business district improvements? That's the biggest item. That's 6.5 million.
Where is that? Oh, okay.
Third one down on expenditures.
What page are you on?
300,000?
Number
I
one.
don't know.
Yeah,
one
so
of
that,
No, it's 6 million.
Oh, well, that's, okay, I was looking at the last page that Roy.
I'm looking at
directed us
and we're
to.
going off the yellow, I guess, for simplicity purposes, unless you had something
Okay,
deviating,
so
we'll
we're
go off
not
the
looking
yellow.
at page 6, Roy?
Page number 1.
Oh, okay.
Item
I'm
40.
sorry, I was looking at the last page, so,
Okay, there we go.
okay, go ahead.
So what line item?
Business
Number
district
40?
improvements.
so that includes.
Oh, I see it.
Everything that's above that, that's starting with line 16, all the way through line 30 that are in place. And out of that, 3.3 million is 380 agreements that are in place already. And so then you've got 200,000 for lift, 1 million for UTRGV, 293 for technology park, 300 for business development and recruitment, 50 for retail Buxton, Project Imagine Tomorrow, 300, Priority Corridor Revitalization, 200, and City Entryway, 100. That's the total.
Page 2. I'm trying to find out where you're reading from.
Oh, I thought that's where you
Yeah.
were reading from.
Yeah,
You
page
can
2
just
has
tell us
them.
what
line
page you're on
16
and what line,
through
that'll make it a
32.
line.
Okay.
No,
No, I was
but
just asking,
DCAP
you have
doesn't
it,
have
you have
that.
it lumped sum all together.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's lumped.
Under
It's lumped up.
item 40 on page 1,
Oh,
and you're saying those are 16? Okay, business district improvements, okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. So I thought you were on page 2. So
Kind of-
from 16 to 32 is business district improvements.
Kind of, business district is kind of an,
It's kind of an umbrella of.
yeah, it's almost like a miscellaneous more than business district improvements, but okay. Okay. Got it. But the big one is, the land acquisition. That's nothing this year, okay.
Roy, there's professional fees of 256,000.
Yes, sir.
What does that entail?
So,
What line
Currently-
are you on, Omar?
27 on the
On
page
page
6.
6, right?
Yes.
Page
yes,
six.
page 6, line 27. At one time, we had
Go
3
fast.
consultants. We currently have a DC consultant, which is $120,000 a year. We have an Austin consultant, which up until Monday was, whatever 6,500 times 12 is,
Yeah, like 9 years.
78,000. And then we had a third consultant in DC up until the end of last year, which we terminated the contract because he was specifically working on the bridge. So that's what that is. And then there's probably about $30,000 left in case we need some professional service, which we can reduce if you'd like. Right now, we have 2 contracts. One is 120 and one is 78 for a total of 298,000.
So the lobbyists help not only with Development Corp, but also help with the city, and we pay it off from Development Corp?
Yeah, well, it's for the city. I mean, the Development Corp pays it because it's a Development Corporation allowable expense.
Okay. I mean, I guess
I'd say we
It just
cut
de-
it to 200.
It just depends on what they're doing and, what they're advocating for, but, I know that our big push is the bridge, and that comes out of this organization, Development Corp.
Because
and
didn't
so-
they reduce their fee?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, they did. And so,
And by them reducing their fee, how much would it reduce how much would that reduce it to the 256, from the 256?
for those two contracts alone, it would be 180.
It was 180, I say, we close it at 180?
Yeah, that would be a tighter line item than the 256. Can we live with 180 on that?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question on the Andrew Lewis cargo. We had allocated 4 million in 19, we only spent $1 million. How do we reconcile that for 1920?
We should have 1 million. It
Lowered
was
it
a
out.
total of,
We already budgeted the 4 million.
It shows,
page is that
it
on?
shows $1 million in the current year and $3 million in this coming year.
right.
So it's just split up. But it's in there, it's gonna complete 4.
Where's Andrew Lewis?
Like you'll see $1 million in
I
19,
know,
20.
but if you take a look, what I was looking for is where it came out of the 1920 budget. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
Yep.
right now, we're in the 1920 budget.
Yeah, but you're not gonna spend it.
No. So what you do is you look at the 4 million, that was the budget. And then one line item over is the estimated for this year.
3 million.
And the balance is next year, 3 million.
Out of the total.
Right. So it doesn't change the
Okay.
total.
Sometimes I know.
Roy,
people can't read
so on
my
page
bullshit.
6, you're going to make the adjustment, because we just shaved off like 100,000 on those awards. And then we added 40 for affordable homes. So you're gonna make that adjustment for
Yes.
the next fiscal year, right? Okay.
Yeah, the 40 is actually gonna come out of this fiscal year, everything else out of next fiscal year.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Okay, so then you'll adjust the decreases that we just went over.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So like if we have the RGB swing bank, instead of reflecting the 12,000, it'll reflect the 6,000 that we're giving them, correct?
Correct.
I
Whatever
thought
you
it was
voted on.
It's 5,000.
Whatever you
And
voted,
it's,
yeah.
the same thing goes with the Boys and Girls Club and the
Yes, ma'am.
affordable homes, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha. So I want you to look at those. Okay. Okay, so we have, actually, I kind of wanted to discuss the events. So we have the Christmas in the Park, we have the McAllen. Maybe we also have something for Christmas. I don't think we're planning on having, those are for the next year or for,
For
because
2020.
whatever they had this year, they probably didn't spend it.
Right, so this is for next year, starting October the 1st. And, I mean, you point to a very big event, McAllen. It may happen, it may not. And so if it doesn't happen, then that 125 doesn't
Doesn't
get
get
spent.
spent.
And I'm
They
gonna
they
guess
didn't
that it
get the
probably
funds for
isn't.
this year either, right, Roy?
I'm sorry,
The
say again?
125? The 125 we had increased for this year. This year's event wasn't done, so they didn't draw that fund, those funds.
Right.
So why don't, couldn't we zero it out and then have them use the 125
Yeah.
from this year?
Yeah?
Well, what
Roll
we
over.
do is that it just goes into fund balance. That
If
happens
they
automatically.
even have it, I mean, if they even. if
In
they
other
were
words,
even-
we
Yeah, they don't-
budgeted 125, we're gonna spend 0, so it just stays in the bank. Where's
we
McAllen, so I
zero it
can show?
out?
Oh, okay, so then,
Like,
They
But-
didn't get the fund, so we keep we need to zero
it's
that out.
contingent upon the event happening. They don't get it and keep it even if it doesn't happen.
Okay, so if you go to page 4, line 74,
Hold on. 470.
all right, that's McAllen event. The budget that we had for 1920, which is our current year, is 125,000. Evidently, they had already spent 25,000, probably to prepare for the event, and that's all they're gonna spend. All right, so next
So they have
year,
100.
they're asking for 125.
They could have spent that 25,000 out of their own budget first, but
I agree on that.
Yeah, and if,
You
if,
guys
if
are
anything
tough.
changes, they can just come back and ask us for more.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Yeah,
well, there's.
Remember, well, let me just say this. Most of their other revenue, other than Development Corp., is ticket sales and revenue at the event. So it didn't happen, probably don't have it. for the most part. Would you agree with that, Joe? Yeah.
Okay.
I have a, we talked about this. So far, you're estimating $1.6 million in sales tax losses from prior year
Like page 4,
quarter. So that's
line-
640,000, 6,400,000 across the city. We got it, we got the sales tax today, right, for,
It was up 1%. So,
But year to year,
August,
you mean?
July, June.
June. So it was up 1% month to month, but year to year.
Yeah,
year
we're
to
still
year,
down, 4% for the year.
4%?
Mm-hmm.
We probably thought it was gonna be more than that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have never guessed a
surviving.
So we're down
positive.
4% year to date, is what you're
Year
saying?
to date,
Compared to the prior year.
correct. No, yes, compared to the prior year.
Okay.
Yeah, year to year, but we.
Well,
had
we're
a
down
good-
1%
we had a
month
good
to month
year.
from June,
Half
May to
the-
June.
Yeah.
What month did we get?
No, no, no.
1%. This June was 1% higher than last June.
Yeah, it goes back a year.
Wait.
We're comparing the same month.
The same month?
Of 2 consecutive years.
You
Okay.
had 6 good months, though, this fiscal year, through
Yeah.
March. So you had 6 plus year, year to year, you're over for 6 months. And now you're down,
They
huh?
do calendar though.
Huh?
Well, but we don't.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
That's kind of
Yeah,
messes
that's what I'm
things
saying.
up.
So
But
it's almost
overall,
an
it's been
illusion.
better.
Only being down 4% is only because it's made up by the stronger 6 months. So if we were to analyze just the bad months, we'd be down even realistically more, is
Right,
what it is.
exactly. And
So
the
4% loss is
The
not,
question is, how long is it
Not for
going to
us.
last for
That's the-
next year?
Yeah.
That's the whole point, though, Roy, is how many months into next fiscal year for us, fiscal year, are we going to have this, to hold up these estimates? So I guess what we're going to do is, we just have to look at it month to month. I mean, and there's
Yeah.
rooms to make
Yeah.
adjustments in there. It's hard to make a budget when you can't, in this
Forecast.
environment. I mean, that's consistent. We don't know what's going to happen. That's my point.
I think a
though.
lot of it's gonna be determined on that vaccine and how they doled it out and all that.
well,
man.
Russia already has it, so.
So that means Trump should get it tomorrow.
A couple things,
Love it.
I'm concerned about. If
I
you
love
take a
Trump.
look at Mexico, you're still going to have the travel ban probably be extended. And whether it gets extended in the next fiscal year is
hurting us,
another
man.
story. But as long as the virus is around, you're going to have it. And then Mexico, you still got the violence in Mexico's probably gotten worse as opposed to improved from Mexican trade. And now, yesterday I read that internet sales in Mexico are up 300%. So maybe people are getting used to the internet, and will they come back to stores? I mean, that's going to be a big issue for malls and everybody else, right? And then you look at around us, everybody actually had a sales tax increase when we were going down, which means they were happy going to their stores in their cities around us. Will they come back to McAllen? And will it take the mall opening up to do that? And so I just, besides the virus, there's things that hopefully they're not permanent, but they may be somewhat longer to recapture that kind of market for influences that we can't control at all.
So how much do we have in, I guess, sensitivity on that, Roy, in terms of, if there's a more prolonged recession here and sales tax revenues don't really materialize to what we think, how much of additional, how much can it go further down? Do we have any cushion there?
Yeah, we did. I think that we were trying to be realistic when we started projecting numbers in March and April. And we were going to err on the side of a bigger loss than we would realize, okay? Because it's easier to take money that we didn't anticipate than to try to fill a hole. So, by end of October, early November, we're gonna have a pretty good idea where we are with sales tax for this current year that ends September 30th. And we can start making adjustments if we start feeling pretty good. The next shot that you'll have would be in más o menos maybe March of '21. If we're doing better than we're projecting, you can adjust the budget at that time. And so you could really do it on a monthly basis, but I don't like calling 1 month a trend.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Maybe more.
We're probably going to be better than we're forecasting.
Oh, okay.
Based on what we're seeing right now. Today's 1% up, it surprised all of us.
But what I look at is your fund balance going from, $17 million fund balance in 18-19 to, with the help of the
Cares.
reimbursement, $4 million. And I think that's, if you look at the general fund budget, we've gone from 190, whatever days it is, to that.
Right above the cusp.
It was a bad time to spend all
So-
that drainage, I mean, all the capital improvement projects.
So we're lucky, we're okay, it's just that we've been able to fund it out of fund balance, some of this.
But Mayor, but a lot of that depends on that 5.4 reimbursement, Mayor.
Yeah, I know, if it's
right?
not,
So, I
if you don't
mean,
have that, you got a
All
negative
of it
fund
depends on
balance.
yeah.
To be
so-
honest, after that move from the county, not them taking it away from that, then I really don't trust them to reimburse us for anything, so. We should
Well,
not
I
be
don't-
counting on that.
I don't
I'm
know about-
confident
I don't know
that
about
we'll get the
but I think we
16.
do need to get a little
They
bit
haven't-
more
they haven't-
comfortable with that.
They
Yeah,
haven't
but we
strayed
shouldn't be
from the
counting on that, because
114
look what they
per
just did
person,
with
so.
the reserve.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying that what do we, I mean, Mayor, what kind of agreement do we have that we would be getting something that we're saying we don't really know? And now that
Well-
they took this other money without our
give it to
our
you.
knowledge, how can we work on that?
Well, I mean, ultimately, they have the trump card because they don't have to give us anything, number
Yeah.
one. But number two, I think more so than the county meeting their obligation up to the $16 million is the county auditor's office not approving it in time. And we're going to send a letter today, and you got to understand, the commissioner's court and the judge don't control the auditor. It's the board of judges, the trial judges, for lack of a better term, control that. And the auditors have always been kind of an issue to deal with, and it's not anything new. And so, and it's brand-new stuff. They're trying to interpret things just like we are. So, I mean, to me, that's the more dangerous part, is getting our 16.3 out of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really important.
That's
And
the
then-
point here, that
We could
We're gonna
argue
end
about
up
the
in a-
rest later.
Yeah, and this 5.4 is part of the 16.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
16
yeah.
point and change is really, I think we'll all feel much better once we get that, and then we'll start fighting for.
So we have
The
a,
other half.
we have a strategy, I don't want to go over it too much here, about how to approach this right now. So we're dealing with that as we speak, and hopefully, we'll get an answer pretty soon, but
Roy,
difficult.
and not to defend the county, but to defend the county, the reason we haven't gotten the 16.3 is not because of the county's inactivity, right? Maybe you can speak to that a little bit about why we haven't been released that money.
It's a very cumbersome process, okay? And so what counties have decided is that they can both do what the CARES Fund Act says at the federal level, plus whatever they deem appropriate. Okay? That's basically the way I have seen it. And so on a call last week, a week ago today, it was a rough call. It was a very, very rough call with the auditor, with the budget, with the DA, and with the judge. And we said, this is ridiculous. We have submitted over 1,000 pages of documentation, and you're still asking for information. And so the judge agreed.
Who is asking for information?
The
auditor's
auditor.
office.
The auditor.
The county auditor's office under the oversight of the county court at law judges.
right.
Correct.
Okay.
And so the judge actually agreed, and he sided with us during the call. He said, look, this
Right,
sounds onerous.
because the auditor does not work for the county commissioner's court.
Correct.
So it's important to make that distinction
That's
that
what I said.
Yeah, but you know what? The
No,
county
that's-
commissioner's court's got a lot of leverage, you know, they got a
over
lot
the
of-
auditor's office?
A lot,
Yeah.
and they pretend like they don't. That's the
Yeah,
worst part about it.
they do. I mean, they do. I mean, they do. And so, nevertheless, the process is very onerous, and I think it's more information than they need. Our point was very simple. We do applications to the federal government all the time, day in and day out. We get audited from time to time, but an audit isn't some weapon that comes and kills you. It's just part of the process. And so when we get audited, we answer the auditor's request, and 99 times out of 100, we're fine. And
But
we
Roy,
said, let the
I guess
process.
My only point is that if the auditor is the one creating the issue, it's important for us to know that the auditor is the one creating the issue. I mean, I work
I
very
said that.
closely with the county well, everyone's upset with the commissioners and the judge. And what I'm saying is the issue right now isn't the commissioners and judge not releasing the money to McAllen. It's the auditors requiring an exorbitant amount of information to authorize the release of those funds.
Okay.
That's what we've been saying.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
I
said. It's
disagree
not-
with you.
the commission
We haven't
doesn't
seen
have
it.
any-
I mean,
And probably it also has to do a lot with the lack of transparency and communication with the cities. I think that's the biggest issue that the county's having with the cities.
Well,
The lack
But the
of
purpose
communication and
of the CARES
transparency.
Act was also to push this money into counties, into cities as fast as possible. And I think the frustration comes with how long we're taking, given that McAllen's already requested reimbursement.
yeah, they keep saying, well, what if the federal government comes back? It's our responsibility, not yours. They get the money back from us, not you. We said we've indemnified you, we've honored it, we'll give you a legal opinion, et cetera. And so,
We had to
you know,
commit.
the big one is, it's a very simple one. The presumption is all your fire and police department are doing it, and all it takes is a mayor's certificate saying that's the presumption is met. And so why do you need 1,000 pages to get reimbursed?
And Mayor, what is it we have between the city and the county? Do we have a contract for the 16.3? And we're concerned that the county won't honor that contract?
No,
Well, they haven't honored anything.
well, I mean, it still has to go through the auditor's office. All payments have to go through the auditor's office.
But we do have a contract with the
Yeah,
county.
Yes.
we have a contract, yeah.
okay, so that was my question. If we had a contract in place, Mayor, so we do.
Yeah, but it still has to, all payments have to go through the auditor's office.
Right.
They have to
I
consider
understand
our
That's what's held up.
expenses as eligible. They have to
don't think the
consider our
MOU's
expenses
got
as
it.
eligible, and they have the right to do
The hard
that.
part is we have to
I
we have to
understand.
approve and fund this 5.4 million. Proceed with the programs.
Yeah,
before
I
knowing if
think
we
the
have the money or
commission-
not.
We're gonna
That's-
get it.
The
that puts-
Commissioners
that puts everyone
Court feels
uneasy.
they've done, by signing the contract, they met their obligation. They're not approving our bills. They're submitting the auditor to pay them. And so that's, you know, there's nothing really the Commissioners Court could do
No.
that they haven't already done. And that's what the mayor, the judge is essentially saying, I think you ought to release the money under the contracts. So they're not, the Commissioners Court's not saying we're not entitled to it, we haven't met the requirement of the contract, it's the auditor's office. Unfortunately, you don't get a check unless the auditor signs off on it. That's what we're working on.
Any other questions?
Okay. Anything else? Then we would need a motion. Go ahead.
No, I have the McAllen Marathon. That's another one with 130. Is that still something that we want to consider for right now or hold it off for later?
What are you saying, Commissioner?
Like,
Well,
are they,
event, yeah.
did they have it this year? Did they have the money left? Are they gonna use?
We're
do it
still
next
planning
year?
on having it. We
Yeah.
haven't made the decision not to have it.
I think that's like the McAllen. You budget for it, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't get spent.
You reallocate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus it's
Now,
an
did
in
they
and
spend
out.
What we gave them last year for this year or no?
Let me just say this, it's an in and out. We show a revenue of 130,000 and an expense of 130,000.
Oh, okay, then that one, that's fine. Now, the other one that I'm a little concerned with the McAllen Heritage Center.
All right.
Where is that?
What was the percentage that they got cut?
Yeah, this is, okay, this is for the building, okay? This is for.
Yeah,
the
I would
building. It was
suggest
a-
that
it
she
was a
not speak
carryover
on that
one
item.
from the-
What?
It was a carryover from the allocation that was done for the remodeling
Wait,
last
Connie.
year. As far as I know, all the money was not spent, so it was carried over to continue improving that building. And as far as I know, we had a lot of leakage again after we put 50,000 of the Heritage Center money to that roof.
Alva,
So-
And if
it was-
anything,
Wait a
I
minute.
think that
Wait a
it kind
second.
of went through some
a
issues
second.
right now that I think they need a little more than what we're
Alva,
getting.
Alva, let Tanya be your advocate because you have a conflict. So Tanya,
That's right. I'm sorry. I was just giving her the info. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I withdraw my comments, but I was just shedding light because it's not a new request for this year. It's a carryover.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think they're not getting cut, Roy. Right? This is just a carryover. I think it's line item number 87, page 4.
No, they're getting cut. And the thing is, they started their projects, and because of the age of the building and the rain
Says
and everything, I think
Yeah, it just says rollover.
to preserve our history, I think that the Heritage Center should be well funded. Just because we don't want to let that building deteriorate, and plus stop the renovations. I don't think it's going to be worth it. We should save our history.
Right, but the reason that there was a higher number this year was because there was actual construction going on, and part of that was for capital.
How much did they originally request? What was it, 58?
58 and 40 is being recommended, but
No, that, y'all are comparing the estimated for the year end to the department
Yeah.
request. City manager recommended the same amount they requested. I don't see a cut.
No, there is a cut.
No, there is a cut.
There's no
No, there's a
request.
cut.
Okay, how much did you
I said we
request?
give them
Alva,
50,000 and.
Wait, let's get the
Alva, how much did
numbers
you
straight
request?
Okay, can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak it.
Your own peril.
So,
Facts
okay,
only.
so the original allocation for the improvements that were completed, in this fiscal year was 175, okay? And we came in at a cost savings, I don't have those numbers right in front of me, but I believe we saved money on that allocation. So we were carrying it over to continue working on the roof and some lighting projects at the building. It is not a new request. The
Yeah.
Heritage Center is not, so it was just a carryover.
That's why the
okay?
carryover remains. There's no cut. That's the way I see
The
it.
other funds for this event, this facility are under general funds, so.
Right. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. So that money was for capital,
This was
right?
a one-time.
Yeah.
It was a construction,
It
hold on, Elva, I'm gonna help you.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, okay.
So it was a one-time request for construction, and so they did come under budget, as she said. And when we were doing the budget, they came to us and said, look, we've got this money left, can we use it for lighting? We all agreed that was a good thing, that's what this is for.
Yes, exactly.
40,000?
That's exactly what it is, not a new request. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
let's move on.
Okay, Tanya,
okay,
Okay.
all right.
thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
anything else before we do a motion to approve everything on page 5, I guess? 4 or 5, or 1?
No, so my question is, we'll get a revised summary, Roy?
Yes, ma'am,
The
you
next
will,
meeting?
yes, ma'am.
No, I don't have any other questions.
So we're gonna stick with the 40 on the,
Yeah,
correct?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
But can I just say this is money for capital improvements?
Yes.
The other funds are general funds.
Let me
Yes.
ask a
Yeah.
question on the Ansandua's cargo design. 3 million, are we expected to spend all of that next year? We are?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we should
Remember, it
finish
was
the
like-
design by
Came in like
November.
at 3.98, don't you remember? The
3.98?
full engineering, but this is gonna take a while, so this is just
Oh, okay.
basically a
Yeah.
continuation of the.
We'll probably spend more than the end of the fiscal year, we have to adjust that.
Yeah, we'll adjust
We'll
it,
get a request before the end of the fiscal year.
yeah.
Okay.
And really, Mayor, you had an excellent comment that we're all concerned about, is that $4 million fund balance. But we've got some big projects in here that are anomalies between the bridge and Daffodil
Daffodil.
and a couple of others. It's $7+ million. And
Quince
so
and
I think we'll be
Daffodil
all
alone
right.
is-
And then we're finished with these projects.
Woke up at 3 o'clock last night thinking, oh my God.
Roy, in a perfect world, when would Daffodil get lit?
That's a lump sum. We're finishing design and right-of-way acquisition, probably very close to the end of the fiscal year,
Okay,
next summer.
got it.
Okay, unless anybody has any other ones, we'll entertain a motion to approve the Development Corporation budget recommendation of the City Commission as agreed to and consented to during the meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second,
Okay, any other discussion? Hear none? All in favor, say aye or raise your hands.
aye.
Okay, motion carried. That was pretty painless.
I gotta say, congratulations. That was well done. That's the best budget meeting we've had in a long, long time. Thank you all on the phone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Hey, JJ. I
Good
thought
job.
you
You
were-
can speak now, JJ.
There you go, I like that
Oh,
picture.
he disappeared. He hit himself.
He's on mute for some reason.